But I've got to ask you because, realistically, this is just a new set of hardware. Obviously, they're trying something a little bit different, and it sort of harkens back to what I remember Xbox trying with the plug-in HD DVD when that whole Blu-ray and DVD war was there. Do you think that it's going to end up being a necessary piece of hardware to have an extra disk drive? Because I would imagine it just adds cost. Obviously, maybe you'll make a few bucks on it, but at the same time, if you're really trying to push people to this digital side, why offer?
So you can push them, a certain number of people, to just have digital, because if you just have digital product, then what else do you do? But given the fact that nearly 50% of the total sales for Sony, for Xbox, for even Nintendo are still physical, you would be losing out some of the customers if you do not offer that option. So instead, what they have done in the previous round with PS5 was to have a $100 price gap between the two models, standard and the digital only. In this one, they're keeping the price gap to $50 because obviously they were probably losing a bit more on the hardware side on the digital only. So they reduced the price gap. They are definitely pushing for it. And coming back in terms of timing, it's 3.5 years since the launch of the original console, right? So if you go back in time with PS4 and other versions also, they used to launch around this time a slimmer version which would have, because the costs on the component side goes down, you're able to streamline some of the operations and manufacturing. So it helps you reduce the cost. That's what should happen in this case as well.
So we talked about the PS4, but I wanted to talk about, some of the other things and some of the other, because it's not just gaming when we're talking about Sony. Yes. You love talking about the IP side as well. What do you make of this new anime channel? And also, what do you make of the comments coming from that? I know it's Sony Entertainment in Spain. He's an executive there. But even still, the fact that potentially, because they've been talking about cutting costs, that would make sense. If you're operating in Europe, you're cutting costs, and apparently they can get 90% of the quality of US operations.
When it comes to cost, that is important for every company. Sony has focused primarily on cost cutting in products like TV, camera, where they're not investing, they're not trying to grow. In areas like this where anime, music, their first priority is to get the right quality and revenue growth. And then alongside comes with the cost. So it's not just the cost driving that decision. For example, a few years back, they withdrew from a lot of first-party studios in Japan. The Japanese customer base, some people who got really upset. It was not cost cutting, it was strategic change. Sony is basically saying our biggest sale market are Western markets. That's where we are developing. Here, the markets have gotten much smaller for us. So they have strategic reasons for making these changes.
Do you have
on the anime side, it's looking very good though.